Hello everyone, welcome to the Inspired Design School of Fashion. Today I'll be teaching us how to make decorative pieces, things that we can use to decorate our dresses, turbans, sometimes even your shoe. There are different kinds of decorative pieces you can make: roses, rosettes, different names, butterfly, I don't know. But in this video I'll be teaching us 3 basic ones, and maybe in the next video I'll teach another 3. So the first one I'll be teaching us, what we need to do is to cut a piece. The size and the width will depend on how big you want your piece to be. For this one, I don't want it too big because I'll be doing a bigger one. So my measurement is 2.5 inches by like 25 inches, and my fabric is folded into 2. And if you're using a fabric that will not frill, it doesn't matter whether you fold it or not, you'll get the same result. This is a fabric that will not frill, but I just decided to fold it to give it more fullness. So after folding it this way, you're going to take your needle and thread, double it so that it will be thick, and it will, when you pull, it's not going to break. So from one edge like this, from this corner, you put your needle and begin to do a straight stitch, just a basting stitch from the corner down. But when you get to this other corner, you are going to curve it a little bit. It's not going to go straight down, it's going to curve. Then you back to doing a straight stitch. So that's how you're just going to go on, making your stitches as small, as in the length, as small as you can. My thread is tangled there, just move on. So it's just basically stitching it, then you just go on. So you just go on, and you're going to finish the same way you started, by curving it gently towards the edge. So I'm just going to curve it again at this side. That means I have this kind of edge left over. I can just decide to trim this off. I can do it now or later, but let me just trim it off. I don't need that. Okay, now we'll pull. See, this is how it's going to look like. So this edge, just make sure it's neat, just turn it a little bit on top of the other. Okay, I want to make this center as close as possible, so I'm just going to be dragging it. So tie the knot. Okay, you have to set your piece before tying the knot. Make sure it looks exactly the way you want it to. Okay, so it cannot lose again. Now I can set it to make sure that I have it where I want it. Then you can also use your needle to close up the space. Just take some from here and here. So we're pulling it together. Once you close this perfectly, you can use it that way, or you can place a brooch on top, or you can place a button to close it, or you can just do something else and put on top. But for this one, I'm going to be placing a button on top. Okay, it's close enough, but let's take it a little bit further. I've made a bigger one. It's the same technique, but this time around this piece is wider I use like 4.5, and then it's longer, I use like 45 inches, so that after pulling it, as in doing my gathers, I have excess, I have to turn it over, so I have just something like a 2 layers. So now I'm going to cut this off. I'm done with it. Just want to close it a little bit further. Just tie your knots and then cut off the thread. Make sure that it cannot lose itself. You can see that the back is not as neat as the front, so you're going to focus on the side that you want it to be the main piece. Now I'm going to place this on top of the bigger one to make a bigger flower. This will look nice on turbans. So what you do will depend on what you are using it for. So I'm just stitching it together. Now, like I said, how you finish this top depends on you. You can make sure it's neat and just close it off like that, or you can put a brooch. But I'm going to place this button on top. It matches the color, but sometimes you can use a contrasting color just to bring it out. Okay, I'm just going to make sure it's well placed. Wow, my thread is cut, so I'm just going to fix that. That's just it. Fix the button tightly, and then it's okay, you can leave it like this. It's already a beautiful piece, but I'm going to take it a step further. I'm going to be placing this on top, so I'll just make use of my glue gun. It's hot and ready, so you can use whatever you want to use, whatever you feel like using to spice it up. You can use pearl. I'm not going to use too many of this. It's beautiful on its own. So we just go on and fix the this is the piece on top. Okay, this is looking lovely already. Just use as much as you want. You can use stone, you can use bead, pearl. Okay, this piece is about ready and I love it. I hope you do too. Okay, so these will go nicely on a turban. Okay, I can just place one more here and here. The next one I'll be teaching us is something similar, a variation of what I'm doing now. So, but this time I'm going to cut the pieces smaller, so we can put this on one side. It's ready, it's done. Okay, now I've made a smaller piece, a square piece, 4 inches by 4 inches. There's no hard and fast ruler to the size. The size will also depend on how big you want your piece to be, but just don't make it too big. So you can use 2 pieces, it will form something. You can use 3. I'm using 5 pieces here. So like I did the other one, I'm folding into 2, and then I will be starting from the edge like that other one, exactly the same way I did that piece. Okay, I'm taking it round. Okay, so this is what it's going to look like. I can cut off this edge, and this I don't need it. That's how I'll go on with all the pieces until you are satisfied with the shape. Okay, all my pieces are stringed on the thread. Now I can just tie the knots. Not tie the knot as in get married. Okay, let's just pull it together and tie it. I have to set it to the way I want it to be. Okay, so let me just tie them. I can begin to make the necessary adjustments. Let's make sure the thread is not broken this time. Okay. So okay, now I can now arrange this side the way I want it to look. It's a flower piece with 5 petals. I use 5 pieces. You can use 4, you can use 3, you can use 6, or even 8. But for this piece, I'm okay with 5. And use a matching thread. I'm just using black so that you can see clearly. Use a matching thread. Now I'm going to, like I did for the other piece, I'm going to try and pull the center together as much as possible. Just take from one end to the other. So that is bringing it together, bringing it closer. So depending on how neat you make it, the center, you can leave it that way. You can manage to make it very neat, but it's going to be very simple. Or you can place a brooch on top. But this time around also, I'm going to place a button, but a contrasting one. I'm going to use a red button on top. I love the combination of yellow and red. We have many flowers like that, I believe. You can use blue and yellow. Just look for colors that just, that will just come out very sharp. Okay, I think I'm just going to leave it this way. Yes, and I'm going to place this red button. I'm making sure that whatever I'm placing on top covers all the rough edges. So I'll just stitch this button on top, but again you have to use a matching thread, a thread that matches the color of the button you are placing. and not necessarily the color of the fabric, because now the thread is going to be on top of the button. So I'm just stitching it. And stitch it very well, and that will be that for this piece. You can place it on your dress. If you make it bigger, it will even look nice on a turban, but you know, for turbans we need something very big and flashy. All right, to the last piece, let me just demonstrate it with paper. You're going to cut a triangular piece again and fold into two. The size depends on how big you want your flowers to be. This is 4 by 4, so I'm just folding into two. Basically what I'm trying to do is to cut out a circle. So from this angle I'm just going to cut. If you don't know how to cut out circles, just find out about it. I don't want to spend time on that. Or you can use your what's it called, compass in the mathematical set. Just look for it and find the length the length. If you want 4 by 4, you do it at 2 inches and you do a circle round, then you cut it, and then you can place the pieces that you've cut on the fabric you want to use. So I'm just going to cut 4. I'm cutting 4 here, but the one I'll be making, because the more circle you cut, I think the minimum you can do is 4 for it to really come out, but you can do as much as possible. So the more circles you cut, the fuller your roses will be. Okay, once your circles are cut, you're just going to fold it into 4 this way. Then you're going to take your needle and string it. Okay, you're going to string it at this edge this way. You're just stringing onto the thread. So basically this is what you're going to be doing, but because this is not fabric, it's not going to show very well, and then it is not full. So once you pull it together, your flower is going to come out. You can see something here, and that is what I have done with these red pieces. But I've cut 12 circles and I've stringed it on my thread. I've folded it and it's all stringed. Then I'm just going to pull it together now and tie the knots. Okay. So just make sure the knot is very tight, and you already have your roses. Set it, pull it out, spread it. If you make this bigger, you can place it on, they use it for sleeve, you can use it as headpiece, you can use it to decorate your dress, you can use it even on turban, but you make it bigger than this, of course. But I want to use it on a clip. I just have this clip lying around, not finding useful. You can use your super glue to just glue it to the clip, and then you can use it as head dress, something to dress your hair. And with that, we have all our 3 pieces. And also know that as we decorated these with these small pieces, you can also do the others like that too. You can place these on here, or you can use bead or whatever, but I'm going to leave this like this. Thank you for joining this class. I hope you've learned one or two things, and hope to see you in the next class. Very soon I'll be doing another video on another 3 kind of flowers. Thank you. See you in my next video.